And I hope you're all enjoying your lunch and you've had a chance to get to know your table mates and have some good conversation. This is the 5th Open Arms Luncheon. I've had the honor to MC, and Open Arms has grown a lot in that time. The 5th Open Arms Lunch, the 5th time I've MC'd, I guess I've done all of them. And I checked one of my date books last night, back to 2009, and my goodness, there it was. So I've been here for 5 years. In 2008, no applause for me, but I never hear it. As opposed to the person who hates what I said on the news last night and throws a brick at their TV. Let's go back to 2008. Open Arms served 130 clients. Last year, they served 2,700. It has grown that much. And to serve this increasing number of clients, they've added 2 programs since 2008, and the staff has grown from 5 to 20. I keep coming back because it's a worthy program. I also keep coming back because the person who invited me the first time to this luncheon keeps asking, and I just can't say no. Her name is Sheila Capistani, who's the Executive Director of Open Arms. She's already plotting to get me back next year. Sheila's thoughtful leadership at Open Arms and the organization's belief in the possibility of every child that is born. It is remarkable. It is inspiring. Her vision and work at Open Arms challenge us to strive for a world where every mother, child, and family is treated with equal amounts of love, care, and attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sheila Capistani.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Open Arms Board, staff, and I would like to wish you a very warm welcome and thank you for attending our luncheon today. This is our 5th anniversary, our 5th year that we've done our luncheon, and 5 years ago I did not need readers. Today I need them, and I don't use them very well, so if I keep doing this, you'll know what my problem is. I also printed my notes in 20 font, and that doesn't seem to be helping. So I would like to give a special welcome to the legislators who are with us in the room. I actually have a special place in my heart for politicians. I know that we say we can get very upset with our politicians and all of this, but I think they do a really hard job and work really hard for us, at least the ones that I like. So I would like to welcome to the room Seattle City Councilmember Nick Licata. Seattle City Council Member Mike O'Brien. Seattle City Council Member Richard Conlon. And Richard is in fact one of my favorite people. And I'd also like to welcome representing Mayor McGinn, Jerry DeGreek. This year is not only the 5th year that we've had our luncheon. Open Arms celebrates our 16th anniversary. So it is our Sweet 16, and we are looking forward to a very sweet year. Some of you may remember that last year I shared with you that I pick a word every year to sort of be my theme for the year, and a word that I would live by for the whole year. Last year's word was gratitude, and I worked all year on having an attitude of gratitude. That was actually a really good word for the year, and I think that I'll keep using it again this year. But I'm going to add another word. And this year, the word I want to live by is courage. The kind of courage that is deeply innate in all of us, the kind of courage that makes our palms sweat, and the kind of courage that makes our hearts sing. I think it takes courage to have strong beliefs and to work towards making them a reality. And sometimes it takes courage to keep doing what's right, even when it's hard to tell that we're actually making a difference. It takes courage to leave a hospital alone with a newborn infant and know that against everything, you're still going to be okay. And I believe it's a courageous act to challenge ourselves to imagine a world where every baby is our baby, to imagine against disparities, against apathy, against overwhelmedness, that we can, as a country and as a community, work towards hopeful, joyful well-being of our children, and that we can do it together. That particular kind of courage is what we're doing here today. So courageously, we're standing together. We're here to hear and talk about what we can do to make the vision of every baby, our baby, a reality. So I'd like to start by telling you about some of the services that Open Arms offers. We have 3 different programs. We have our birth doula services, breastfeeding peer counseling, and outreach doula program. You will hear today how these services have transformed the lives of new mothers, babies, and families in the Seattle area and in our county, with personal stories from mothers who've received these services. You will also hear about the incredible work our keynote speaker, Jennie Joseph, has done over the past 32 years to create health equity and positive outcomes for women and babies. You'll hear about the 40% of the women requesting support from Open Arms that had to be turned away last year because of budget and support constraints. You will hear about the profound costs that kind of inequity has on mothers, babies, families, our communities, and ultimately on the world. It doesn't have to be that way, though. We believe that with your help, Open Arms can build an organization that serves all women who come to us for support. We believe that together we can strive to realize our vision, that vision, every baby, our baby. We believe that together we can strive to realize that vision, making babies, mothers, families, communities, and our world better, stronger, and healthier. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit more about our program, starting with our birth doula services. Open Arms has provided birth doula services to women and their families in the Puget Sound area since 1997. And we actually have some of the women who sat around a living room at Penny Simpkins' house and decided to start this organization are here in the room. So some of our founders, 1997, we started this organization. Our birth doulas serve women from the 3rd trimester through birth and until the baby is about 6 to 8 weeks old. Doulas provide prenatal support, parenting education, continuous emotional and physical support throughout labor and delivery, and assistance in the early postpartum time. Please join me in hearing more about our birth doula services from Alicia, our birth doula service client, and birth doula Lynn Lambie.
and we want to thank Alicia and Lynn for sharing their story. It is now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Jennie Joseph. Jennie is a truly remarkable woman, a role model and mentor for us all. She's worked tirelessly over the past 3 decades, empowering, educating, and supporting women, providing quality maternity care and improved outcomes for countless women and babies. Jennie is a midwife and the executive director of The Birthplace, which is a freestanding birthing facility in Winter Garden, Florida. That's in the Orlando area, and it serves women, babies, and families who otherwise would not have access to her services. Her clinic was featured in the film No Woman, No Cry, directed by Christy Turlington Burns, who is the founder of Every Mother Counts. Jennie is also executive director of her own nonprofit corporation, Common Sense Childbirth Incorporated. She is internationally recognized for her commitment to help every woman deliver the healthy baby that she wants and deserves. Her work exemplifies what the world can look like if we embrace the vision of every baby, our baby. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Jennie Joseph.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here, and I live in Orlando, Florida, so I was a little bit scared when Sheila said, "Can you come?" I was like, oh no, it's going to be cold. So yesterday was really, really great. I even went on the ferry, so this is really a lovely surprise. I want to thank Open Arms for the opportunity to be here. It's an honor, and I really, really love this organization. My presentation is called Where There's a Will, There's a Way, and I really, truly believe Open Arms has found a way. So I came to the United States in 1989, and really this is true, I'm not making it up. I came to Disney World. Yeah, and look what happened. So I'm still here. I did figure out that America's not like Disney, though. I worked that out. So, but one of the things that was really hard for me when I arrived was I was already a midwife when I got here. So I just got off a plane and figured I'd deliver some babies because I knew Americans had babies and everything, and I knew I'd get a job, and everybody looked at me sideways and like, what are you talking about, midwife, huh? That was Florida, remember? So I have really had to struggle with what I did discover about living and working in the United States as a midwife. And that was that. I was not seeing many women of color, many low-income women coming into my practice. I had a very thriving home birth practice. It was going great, and I was doing well. But I just couldn't figure out why there was no diversity in my practice. And I began to learn about the reason behind that. And I realized there was a very serious problem here. And I don't think many people really do understand how bad it is. But this is the truth. This is what's so. Twice as many African-American babies are being born too soon, being born too small, or too sick to survive their first birthday. Twice as many. And that's across the board. That's not something that's just in one area or a really disenfranchised area. That's everywhere across America. That's the difference between this hat and this hat for your newborn. That's what I'm talking about. And if you see this graph, it's not very clear, and that's actually on purpose that you can't really read the legend very clearly. It doesn't really matter what the legend is. It doesn't matter what it's representing, which disparity is it talking about. You know already that the line at the top, that purple line, represents the African-American race. You know that, don't you? Because the other lines will be pretty well close together. So we could be talking about diabetes, heart disease, it doesn't really matter. The problem is, in this case, though, we're talking about dead babies. And so I developed a program, and I wasn't very creative. I couldn't think of any fancy names, so I just called it the JJ Way, because I'm Jennie Joseph, and that was the best I could do. And so the JJ Way is a maternal child health system which is addressing that very problem. And I had to stop and ask myself this question. Could it be possible, then, that we could just create a culture and an environment that supports all pregnant women in America? Is that possible? And would that difference be that there would be better health, that babies might go all the way to full term instead of being preterm, that the babies might be fatter? Could that be possible? Could those babies be breastfed? These women who are in these risk categories, what is going to make the difference for these women? And so the fundamental underlying premise was simply this: every woman wants a healthy baby. Any one of you that has a child knows what I'm talking about. Every woman wants a healthy baby. Whether she's running the streets, acting the fool, carrying on, it doesn't matter what she's doing. Deep down, when she's pregnant, she wants a healthy baby. And so I asked myself, well, what would it look like then if every woman had the confidence and the support, had the access to that kind of care that would bring her to the end of her pregnancy with that safe and healthy baby? What would it look like if every dad had that same support, was recognized? How would that mom feel that was fathering the child, who was partnering with that dad? How would that baby feel? How did you feel when it was you? So the vision of the JJ Way is simply this, that all women have access. They have connections, they have the knowledge, and they have the empowerment to get their healthiest pregnancy and birth. Theirs, not ours, not what we think is right for them, but what they want for themselves. And so I created this atmosphere at my center. I was already providing prenatal care, and I wanted to bring these women on board. And I said, I'm going to have to do this myself. And so we started taking photos of the women to represent them. And you know what? We could not find those photos anywhere. You can't go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book that connotes these beautiful pregnant bellies. But the full-term baby is what we're about. So it became about the big belly. So these pictures are pictures of women from my practice, everyday women. And we took them in the back room, in the birth room. We just put some black fabric on the wall. And we draped and we wrapped and we took pictures with a digital camera and we goofed off and we got this. We were shocked. We were really surprised. It didn't matter whether they had stretch marks. It didn't matter whether they were overweight. They felt good. They enjoyed the session. We did this one time, but this is what we got. So we created the culture. We tried to support the women in a way that was meaningful for them. It wasn't just providing them medical care. We wanted to make sure that these women knew they were supported, that they had the resources, and that they could have their baby anywhere they chose. And many of them, most of them, choose hospital. So it's a midwifery model, but it's not about just being the midwife. It's about women having options. So we accepted that the women would choose. This woman was trying for a VBAC. You see the confidence in her. She felt ready. This one was first time scared out of her wits, drove us crazy. She would never stop. But look at how she blossomed and grew into that pregnancy. This was a first-time mom. She had a lot of preterm labor going on, but she went to term. This one had had a preterm baby. Her previous baby was born at 28 weeks. She was told all her babies would have to be born early by cesarean. She went to term. The skinny one, you know, skinny girls aren't supposed to be able to carry babies to term. This one was barely 100 pounds. She went to term 3 times. She breastfed her babies. These images were important for the women to see themselves, to understand what was possible. I tell this story because this woman, Kanita, was using drugs when she first came to my practice. She was crack addicted. This woman went to a high-risk clinic. We did collaborative care. She got her baby to term. She had a residential program. She was clean throughout the rest of her pregnancy. She delivered her baby. This woman, too. Can you beat it? I mean, I'm talking about what if every baby was our baby? Every baby was breastfed. What if every mother... I'm having some trouble with my slides. They're going faster than me, but I'm not pressing the button. I'm just... What if every baby was bonded? What if every family was able to welcome their child? So I want to share a little bit about my work. We did a clinical study in 2007 because one thing I learned about being in America is that you've got to have some data. You know, like the pictures aren't enough. So we went with the study. We enrolled 100 women, and these were prospectively enrolled. They were not picked and chosen. They were just who came on board at this time and said yes. And we wanted to see what the outcomes would be, and this is what we got. Now keep in mind, I don't have any real fancy stuff going on. I'm just a midwife. We have a few medical assistants, but we got 95% of the babies from these at-risk women to term. 95% of these babies weighed 7.5 pounds. But there were no low birth weight babies, no premature babies, no babies that were sick or in jeopardy born to African American or Hispanic women out of those 100. Not one. Thank you. So you see this graph that I pointed out earlier. If we had been able to plot on this graph, our little blue smiley face represented that 4.7% of those women that had low birth weight babies in our study. But the heart, the purple heart, represents that line of 0 where there were no African American or Hispanic babies. I want to close with this little excerpt. You may have heard this before. It's an excerpt from Life Song, which was by a book by Jack Cornfield called A Path with Heart. So if you'll indulge me. There's a tribe in East Africa in which the art of true intimacy is fostered even before birth. In this tribe, the birth date of a child is not counted from the day of its physical birth, nor even the day of conception, as in other villages. In this tribe, the birth date comes the first time the child is a thought in its mother's mind. When a woman is interested in having a child, she first goes to sit alone under a tree, and in that place of solitude, she listens. She stays in that quiet place until she hears a song. She knows that it is the song of the child who wants to come. When she hears the song, she returns to the man who will be the child's father and teaches the song to him. And when they make love to conceive the child, they sing the song to call the child to them. When the woman is pregnant, she teaches the child's song to the midwives and the old women of the village, so that when the birth time arrives, the people surrounding the mother sing the song to welcome the child among them. Then, as the child grows up, the other villagers learn the song, and if the child falls or hurts his knee, someone picks him up and sings the song. When the child does something wonderful, the people of the village sing this song. And when the child goes through the rites of puberty and becomes an adult, the villagers sing the song. It goes this way through life. At a wedding, the songs of a husband and wife are sung together. Finally, when this child grows old and lies in bed, ready to die, all the villagers know the song, and they sing it for the last time. If every baby was our baby, I'm having trouble with my thing. If every baby was our baby, what would we truly want for our baby? What would that look like? What would we do differently? What wouldn't we stand for? How would we strive harder? What would move us to action? Please support Open Arms Perinatal Services. Thank you for being here, showing your support already, but know that this program makes a difference. And let us sing every child's life song as if it were our own. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, Jennie. Thank you for your work and for your inspiration. And mostly, thank you for wanting things to be better. And personally, thank you for being my friend. I just met Jennie in April, and I feel like I have found my sister. It's a pretty amazing thing. I can't believe I forgot to do this when I first got up here, but the most important people in the room that I want to welcome today are all of the little ones. I love to hear your voices. You let yourself be heard and let your needs be known, okay? Now I'd like to tell you about our breastfeeding peer counseling program. Our peer counseling program is a partnership that we have with Public Health Seattle King County WIC. It's a lot of acronyms. That's Women, Infant, Children. The Open Arms Breastfeeding Peer Counselors are women who have had successful experience nursing their own babies and who want to mentor other women from their communities to do the same. So it is a community-based program. Our counselors connect in many ways with their clients in whatever form works best for the clients, by phone, in person, sometimes at our clients' homes. They provide accurate information. They help allay the fears and encourage women through empathy and practical support to feel secure and successful breastfeeding their babies. I invite you now to join me to hear from our client, Sarah, our breastfeeding peer counseling client, and Brittany Tamayo, our breastfeeding peer counselor, how this service provided Sarah with the encouragement and support she needed to successfully and confidently breastfeed her baby. All right, I'd like to thank Sarah and Brittany for the gift of your story. I'd like to tell you now about our Outreach Doula program, which is our third program. Open Arms Outreach Doula program connects women to outreach doulas who are from their community and are specially trained to provide support during the critical first months of pregnancy through a child's second birthday. So that's almost about 2.5 years of service delivery. This long-term support provides firm links within a community and extends the support of a doula from the earliest time that a woman learns that she's pregnant through the years when babies and families grow and change absolutely the most. The Outreach Doula program links women to doulas who are from the same community, who can bridge cultural and language barriers, And our outreach doulas support clients according to their individual needs and the needs of their communities. Outreach doulas serve many roles for the families that they work with, not only in support of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, but also in the role of a cultural navigator, walking alongside women from their community to help new women, new moms navigate and access resources for their children and to support their children's early learning from the very beginnings of life. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you Asha, one of our Outreach Doula Program clients. Want to come on up? And her doula, Hawa Egal. Asha will tell you about her experience participating in the Outreach Doula program. She came to Open Arms actually from our Birth Doula Services program and then extended the care and support she was receiving by transferring to our Outreach Doula program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for supporting moms and babies into our community. Without your support and helping me, I wouldn't have able to help my client. My name is Hawa, and I'm one of the outreach doula in the Somali community. In 2006, I was a member of Community Advisory Committee at Westin Early Learning Initiative. In this capacity, I learned of the need of doula in the Somali community. I understood how necessary it was for the Somalian women to have a doula because of their desire to have a natural birth. Although I have no medical experiences, I have had done home visit assessment for a social research organization. I applied for an outreach doula position at Open Arms, and I was accepted. After 6 months of training and volunteering as a doula, I became an outreach doula in 2009. I connect with family and their family in the beginning of the year, the beginning of their pregnancy. I attend their birth, and I provide home visit until their child is 2 years. I support my clients providing information and resource for their prenatal, postpartum health. After the baby is born, I track the baby's health and development and the mother's risk of postpartum depression. One of the important services we provide is promotion first relationship, is goal building a relationship between parent and children's effect enhancing confidence and competence as a parent. From my client, I learned that each woman have a different need and that each baby has a different need and how to match those. I am very fortunate to work with lovely and unique women with the determination and foresight to make an impact in our community. A regular day at the office for me is I prepare the day, view past notes, check for the day, check for the visit, prepare for home visit and handouts and resources, set up for home visit. A memorable thing that I remember was about 3 years ago, we had a beautiful Open Arms retreat at Bainbridge Island. This opportunity gives us to exchange, to get to know one another, and to get and to share our experiences. What makes Open Arms special is the overall goal to create safe environment for both mother and children born into our community. It makes a safe and empowering place to work. What makes me doing this work is knowing that in some way I have impacted the life of women and children I see, and the future to help pave path for a bright future. My hope and dreams for both my clients and Open Arms are to help advocates for every client I see implement by guidance in their daily lives. My hope for Open Arms is that we are able to expand our outreach program so that we reach continuous and better serve every woman in our community. This year themes me of every baby is our baby, is that every single baby born into Open Arms program is our baby to love, cherish, and nurture so that the bright future awaits them. Thank you very much, and now I'm gonna pass the microphone to Asha. Asha was my client.
you. My name is Asha Para, and I'm a recent graduate from the UW School of Nursing, and am so happy to call myself a nurse and an RN because it's been an incredible journey. It was my passion for maternal and child health that brought me through the doors of this wonderful organization. And trust me when I say that I had no idea 3 years later I would be standing here in front of all of you giving my story about the wonderful gift this organization has been. I remember wanting to be more involved in just my academics and my clinicals, and I wanted to do more. So I started searching online for nonprofits that supported pregnant women, and I came across the word doula. And from that discovery, I learned about Open Arms. Through my searches online, I learned what the definition of a doula was, but it was after volunteering with the organization that I learned and saw the level of difference a doula could make in families' lives. Instantly, from the women that were in the office to the doulas that were out in the field, you could feel the love and passion that they had for their work. So once I found out I was pregnant, I of course had the usual mixed feelings of fear, excitement, and worry, but I also felt so fortunate to have an organization like Open Arms that was available to me, that could provide me with benefits and an opportunity to have, a better overall birthing experience, because that's what I deserved. When it came time to finding the right doula, I gave Open Arms the characteristics I was looking for, and they matched me with a birth doula, Faisa, and she was amazing. She felt we connected right at the moment we met, and I felt like I could talk to her and was so comfortable. I felt like she truly understood my needs and what I wanted. She had the experience I was looking for and an extensive background beyond being a doula as a childbirth educator and a mother herself. But most importantly, she and I shared the same culture and beliefs, and that was pivotal in such an intimate and personal time. Also, by sharing the same cultural experience, she was able to fit right in with my family and had her own connection with my mom, which was so wonderful for me. I have a big family, my mom, my cousins, sisters, aunts, and my husband, and they're also supportive and loving, and they really didn't understand why I needed a doula, but it wasn't about them. It was about me, and I knew that by having a doula, it would make all the difference, and it truly did. I am usually a quiet person and almost always put the needs of others or what I think they need before my own. So it was so nice to have someone who was in there for me that helped me say what I wanted. Nothing in my labor was what I expected. I had to be induced. It was like 6 weeks early, and my husband wasn't even in town at the time, so it was crazy, but my doula helped make it all okay, and I honestly believe that I would not have had the wonderful birthing experience without her. She was able to be there for me in so many different ways. She helped my loved ones get involved and not feel helpless, and that created these memorable moments for us. She showed my husband and sisters different comfort measures and was a great teacher. She was ultimately my voice. She knew what I needed, even when I couldn't always state it. She was aware of my wishes and goals and helped me stay focused during my labor. I remember early on, we even came up with the mantra, as I was in labor, pain is good, pain means progress, and I kept stating that through my labor because I really wanted it. And as active labor set in, we moved on to visualization, and that helped me get through my contractions. My doula created the safe place for me to focus and relax in, and I could labor, and I felt wonderful. And whenever I think back to my son's birth, I always have to smile, and I'm just so grateful for it all, because I felt great and I feel great about it. Being a parent has changed my life. My son is my world and he's everything to me, and I'm so proud to be his mother. Being a parent, however, can be an overwhelming responsibility, and my husband works in Canada and is gone most of the time. But thankfully, during my son's first year, my mom was here, but as soon as I graduated, she had to go back home, and I started to feel alone. Here I was, a new graduate, starting my career, and also having a toddler now, and its infancy was great, but toddlerhood is a whole nother ball game, and I started to feel alone and doubt myself as a parent, asking questions, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be his mom and be there for him? But yet again, Open Arms came through for me, and I met Hawa, and she helped me. And she helped me get through it, and through the outreach program and promoting first relationships. It was another step in me gaining the strength and confidence as a mother. It truly helped me by pointing out the strengths I already had as a parent and in my relationship with my son. I have these great tools under my belt, but what I truly got away with that program was I realized that I already had everything within me, and just by being his mom and being with him, I was already great. Open Arms and my doulas have all given me truly immeasurable gift, and I am forever grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha and Hawa, for your inspired words, and thanks again to Alicia, Lynn, Sarah, and Brittany for sharing your stories with us and showing us how different it can be when we truly live our vision of every baby, our baby. I'd like now to introduce Dave Sarju, Principal of Crew Leadership. Crew Leadership provides consultation, coaching, and training to organizations seeking to enhance teamwork and productivity. Dave has been transforming work teams and organizations now for over 17 years. With a BA in biology, Dave previously worked as a research scientist, examining less complex life forms before turning his focus to human interactions. In his life outside of work, Dave enjoys being a parent, a husband, and advocating for youth. Dave will explain how we can all together help make stories like the ones that we just heard a reality for every woman, child, and family who wants and needs this kind of support. Dave.
Good afternoon. Albert Einstein said, "Not everything that counts is countable, and not everything that's countable counts." By the way, Albert Einstein was a baby too. So I've been asked to talk about something very countable, and that is your financial contribution. What else can we count? We can count third grade reading rates. We can track high school graduation rates. We can enumerate incarceration costs, and we can measure divorce rates. I bet you can even count the number of coworkers who drive you crazy. If you're here with a colleague today, turn to her and say, "I'm not on your list today, am I?" Unfortunately, we cannot count in the same way the amount of joy that our colleagues bring us each day when they say, "Let me get that for you," or "Let me help you understand how to format that." But we can feel it, and we know that it matters. We can't put a number on the love or the goodwill we feel from a neighbor when he picks up your garbage can lid that's flown down the street. And we can't weigh the love or connection that a child feels from their mother and father. But we can appreciate the compassion that that child shows towards other children. We know that the countable and the uncountable are inextricably linked. And we know that your financial contributions to Open Arms counts But it doesn't just count, it compounds. I'll tell you quickly 3 reasons to keep in mind as you consider your contribution. This investment grows. That child's song that Jennie spoke of, that's sung throughout the child's life, is compounded during the academic experience, and it gains dividends in adult partnership relationships and work relationships. It germinates and pollinates and proliferates as that child then becomes a parent and passes that love on. So the work of Open Arm, it not only counts, but it compounds. And there are a couple more things that are not might not be on the radar that Open Arms contributes. It might not be countable or publishable, but no less important. As you know, Open Arm doulas are members of the communities in which they serve, as Hawa demonstrated. And while not officially part of the grant package or the business plan, the outreach doulas also serve as elders in their communities. You see, Hawa has invited Councilmember Mike O'Brien. And Lord knows we need more women elders in a community. Sometimes we might miss some important elements. Can I get a witness? Because we know that when the women and children are well, then our communities are well. The work of Open Arms not only counts, but it compounds. And there's one more thing you should know. I know this is annual luncheon season or annual breakfast season, and I imagine many of you have or will be going to another luncheon in the next month, right? So this is not just about showing your face. It's not just about writing a check. This is an investment. I don't mean that as hyperbole. I mean it literally. There was a person up here earlier. I'm going to ask her to come back. Sheila, can you come up here? Look, I'm already way off script, and I'm sure they're not going to invite me back. I want you to know something about Sheila, and there are only a few people who know this. The work of Open Arms is grounded. My work is around organizational performance, and leadership matters. The capacity of the organization is not only in its structure, but in what's invested in the employees. And how many of you are in the business of caring for others? Socially, psychologically, physically, right? That's why you're here today. Matter of fact, that's why we're all here on this planet, to care for each other. But some of you have to do it also in your profession. And you know that we in those businesses often don't care very well for each other or don't care very well for ourselves. Sheila is committed. She knows how, and she administers an organization where they care for each other. And that is a capacity in the organization that compounds indefinitely. So I want you to, this is a virtuous cycle. Communities, women, children, employees. This foundation that is an integral part of Open Arms is something that Sheila personally contributed. I want you to give her a hand. You can sit down. And I will too, very shortly. So the work of Open Arms counts and it compounds. And I want you to contribute in a way that will continue to give. Take a moment to think about that contribution. Write your check, make your pledge, put it in your credit card, put your contribution in the envelope. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to consider that contribution, and thank you for supporting this wonderful work.